Welcome to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7 and 1450 WHTC. It's your opportunity to learn more about your garden and your yard, about dealing with pests, and about taking care of the birds. You can be part of the show with your questions at 395-1450. That's 395-1450. And now, from DeBruyn Seeds on Washington Avenue in Zeeland, here's the Master Gardener, Jan Meeuwsen.
Good morning, everyone, and happy tulip time. And do we have a caller on the line? We do. Good morning. Happy tulip time. You're on the Garden Show.
Yeah, I have seen a Baltimore Oriole.
You've seen one?
Yes.
All right. They are
Twice.
just coming back now. So you're lucky. I have not seen one or even heard one in my backyard yet.
I've seen one.
One.
And I don't have no orange or nothing for my bird feeder.
Oh, well, you better get something out for those poor little guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bright orange.
I love
Bright
those
orange.
things, yes. If you can get some food out for them, they will stay. So
Yeah.
otherwise, they kind of live up in the top of the trees. They'll come down if they see orange or see the color orange. So you can even just put out something orange and they'll come down. But
Yeah.
Oh, enjoy your Oriole.
I will.
Okay, thanks for that. Yeah, I have not seen one. I have not even heard them. Normally, I can sit on my deck and hear them out in the backyard, but I have not heard them yet. So I know they're here. She said that, and I've had a couple other people come in the store. I've had a couple people come in the store and say they've had hummingbirds. I've got my hummingbird feeder up. They're always here by tulip time, always. But I haven't seen them yet. Maybe tomorrow when I can actually sit there and watch them, Usually I can see them in the evening. They're at my feeder in the early evening, but haven't seen them yet. But I know they're coming if they're not already here yet, and I'm just not paying attention. But I've got my food out for them. With the Orioles, the trick is get the food out before they come through, so they're up in the tops of the trees, and if they don't see orange or anything down below, they're not going to bother going down there. So, get that orange feeder out there that's got the orange roof on it or whatever, and enough so they can see it, kind of out in the sun so they can see it, and they will come down. And once you get them coming, they come back every year. I had a neighbor that would come back from Florida every year and bring back a couple of bags of oranges and put them out. So our neighborhood got blessed with Baltimore Orioles everywhere. So and he would keep putting them out all summer. I would feed them and a couple other people fed them, so they stayed around. Now they are the first bird to go back south. After July, they only raise one brood of chicks, not two like most of them do. And in July, they're headed south already. So, you got to enjoy them while we can for the couple of months that we actually get them up here. Hummingbirds stay, I see them through the end of September. And I'm sure that I'm not seeing the same ones. I'm sure I'm seeing ones that have gone further north and are coming south. But we see them through the end of September. And once it freezes out, you really don't see a lot of them. But then you get every once in a while someone that will see them in November. So, but yes, they're with us a little bit longer during the year. And it's so much fun to watch those birds. I love them. If the Baltimore Orioles are here, that means the rose-breasted grosbeaks are back, along with indigo buntings and scarlet tanagers. So, should be a lot of birds out there. I got this email for someplace in Ohio, and it's on the Maumee River, so it must be near Toledo, is what I'm thinking. And it's supposedly this huge week-long birding experience in Ohio, not that far from us. And it's a week long, and every day they have like 20 different walks that you can go on, bird walks that are guided bird walks. There's self bird walks. There's a bird walk where you get in your car and caravan and just follow each other to different sites. This is huge. I never heard of this before. It's a week long. It's got all these speakers. It's got everything about birds you'd ever want, and it's usually the first week of May, first full week of May. I'm absolutely shocked, and it starts this weekend. I've never heard of it before. I wish I did. I would have probably at least gone down there for one or two walks, but they've got walks from starting at 6 a.m. in the morning and it goes until 9 o'clock at night. There's some night walks. Um, I was shocked looking at all of the different things that they've got going. So, um, and again, never knew it. And they were actually celebrating its Warbler Month, and it's Warbler Month here too, because this is when the warblers go through to further north, or east or west or wherever they go. But we usually see them in the month of May also, and they're doing a bunch of walks. They're just looking for the different warblers that are coming through. They're usually bright yellow, and I know we've got the goldfinch up here that are bright yellow right now too, but these are a little bit stockier birds. The finches are kind of skinny, and the warblers are like a little bit, there might be the same size as a finch, but they're just a little stockier, and they are usually yellow from head to foot. It's really cool to see one of these birds. They don't necessarily come to a feeder, but if you've got some, pine trees or evergreens or something that's green that they can hide in, a lot of times you'll see them there. They also come to my bird bath all the time. They're constantly at my bird bath I'll catch a glimpse of something yellow, and there's another warbler there. They don't come in groups, but it is fun to watch out for the warblers during the month of May. So, keep your eyes out for them. They're coming through the rose-breasted grosbeaks. Now, they love your feeder. They will be at your feeder. They're kind of cousins of the cardinal. They got those great big beaks. So they love sunflower seeds and anything that you can put in there like that. And indigo buntings and scarlet tanagers, again, don't come to a feeder very often. But if you've got one of those nice little bird baths and it's kind of near some trees, you'd be surprised at the amount of birds that you can get in a bird bath. So just fun. Everywhere is just fun. I fed my birds this morning. I've got a couple of feeders out the back door on the lower level of my house, and filled the feeders, put a little bit on the ground for the ducks, because otherwise they get a little upset if you don't give them a little something. And I walked back in the house, and my cat, 2 minutes later, hurtled himself against my door and it's making this weird noise. And I'm like, what in the world? There was a chipmunk there. My cat knew that chipmunk was not wanted. So he's not allowed outdoors. So I went outdoors and I scared the chipmunk away. Trap will be put up for him by tonight. I can guarantee you. I don't want that chipmunk eating all my food. They just do way too much damage. They can go away from my house. But yes, all fun. The birds are fun to take care of and watch. But yes, remember, it's tulip time. If you haven't gone down taking advantage of the week before tulip time to look at the tulips at Windmill Island, which are beautiful this year. Going by Windmill Island this morning, you probably don't want to drive there right now. It is packed full of people. And the overcast days are the days that you get the best pictures of tulips. So a lot of people know that, and that's why they're there, so they get the better pictures. Sunshiny day, you don't get as good a picture. So, if you really want to, but tulip lanes are very pretty. There are spots that are just gorgeous. 8th Street is not bad. There's a couple beds that are a little bit shaggy, but hey, the tulips are pretty. So if you can get out and enjoy them, kind of avoid the crowds, rather than, maybe there's always tulip time in Windmill Island. The week after tulip time is usually still pretty. There's usually still lots of tulips going. And, it's fun to celebrate the Dutch heritage and all the bulbs and, And if you want to join Tulip Dig, you might want to walk around Window on the Waterfront and Centennial Park, because that is where Tulip Dig is going to be on Saturday, May 20, from 9 until 11. It's only going to be for 2 hours. So it's not like it's 9 till noon. It's 9 to 11, May 20. It's earlier by a week and a half than it normally is. So, and it's only going to be Window on the Waterfront and Centennial Park. Windmill Island may be added if the tulips are finished blooming then. Otherwise, it's just going to be Window on the Waterfront and Centennial Park. You might as well, take a little walk through, see what tulips you like, what beds they're in, write down where you want to be. It's $10, I believe, for a 5-gallon bucket. You can fit a lot into a 5-gallon bucket. You have to bring your own bucket and your own shovel, and pay for it by the bucket that you grab. There's a lot of people that do this, so where I wanted to go first, and what colors. You want those lilac ones that are on the corner there, or do you want those red ones over in the middle? You pick out which ones you want before the morning starts, because if you're just going to wander around looking for a spot, you're never going to get anything. So pick out your beds before, and that's, again, Saturday, May 20. It's earlier than it normally is. It's normally in June, but it's this year it's in May. Not really sure why they're doing it so early, but hey, whatever, they'll do that. Let's do the fun at DeBruyn's right now. My goodness. Lots of fun stuff there. We've got broccoli and cabbage and cauliflower and Brussels sprouts and kale, and we've got some tomatoes and peppers and herb plants, and they're all looking really good. Now, do we have squash or pumpkins yet? No. The ground's too cold to put those in, so we're keeping them in the warm greenhouse. In fact, they probably haven't even been planted yet, so we'll just keep those there, and that works fine. But we do have tomato plants there. We've got them singles, so they're a little bit bigger, or the smaller ones. Don't plant those in the ground quite yet. The ground was 49.8 degrees yesterday. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer today. We had a little warmer night last night. Cold rain can make it, stop going up. But hopefully by the end of next week, it will kind of be trying to get on where it normally is. We're normally around 60 degrees by now, and we aren't. So we've got a long way to make up here. But, we still can plant a lot of other things. Your onions can go in, your potatoes can go in, peas can go in, beets and carrots, radishes, and the greens can go in. So there's a lot of things that you can put in the garden right now. We need to stop and take a break, but we will be back with the garden show right after these messages.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
We're back, and we've been talking about the fun things going on at DeBruyn's. We got the tomatoes and peppers and a lot of the plants in already, the cool weather plants. Some of the warmer weather plants, no, they're not in yet. We need to have May show us that May can really be warm before we get those. But we do have a lot of flowers out there. We have a ton of hanging baskets out there. So you got your choice of all kinds of really pretty colors. We also have grapes, blueberry, raspberry, and blackberry bushes. The blackberry bushes and the raspberry, I believe, are both thornless. So that's even better. Hey, I was looking at the tag the other day on the blackberries, and I love blackberries, but I hate picking those because of the thorns. But these are thornless, so hey, that's good. Strawberry plants, we still have those. Herb plants, we have those. Lots of flowers. Seed potatoes, we have lots of whites, reds, yellows, and blue. Any color that you want, we've got them. onion sets, shallots, as well as the Texas sweet onion plants. I think basically we've got white ones left of that. Garlic, and of course, oh, we've got a caller on the line. So good morning, happy tulip time. You're on the garden show.
Good morning, Jan. I think I have a vole problem. I have all kinds of holes in my perennial gardens, and I put out my live trap to trap the little chipmunks or gophers.
Yep.
But I don't see any of them, and I'm not catching anything. But the holes they continue to increase. So is that a vole?
Probably. I used to have a huge vole and shrew problem in my backyard, and I put out those bait boxes. They have to go in. They just have to nibble on it once, and they go out and die. That's the best part about it. They don't have to keep going back to get more poison to get that lethal level. They just have to eat once. I put it out underneath a bush, and I kept moving it.
Yep.
One week it was under one bush, 1 week was on the other. You can still do that. I know they're trying to get it so we homeowners can't get our little hands on some of this poison, but you can still do that. That's what I found worked the best for me.
All right. The holes are about an inch in diameter.
Like a quarter type thing, right? Yeah, that's what they are. Yep.
Okay. So you have those at the store, I imagine?
You bet. And they're real easy to use. There's 2 locks on it, and then you take the keys off so the kids can't get in there, and the dogs or cats or anybody else that can't get in there either.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Hey, thanks so much. I love your show.
Oh, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah, those voles can make a huge problem. They eat the roots of your plants. They make holes. They dig like little narrow runs in the yard and in our soft landscape beds. They love that. They say thank you for that every day. They love to chew on the barks of your little small trees. They're nasty little creatures. And if there's one, there are hundreds, honestly. Just have to have a pair of voles. They can have babies every 4 weeks, and they can have up to 20 babies at a time. So if you think of a summer being 4 months long, that's an awful lot of babies that can be there. So we just don't even want to think about that. It took me a while to get my voles under control. Once I got them under control, then I left it up to the hawks, and they doing an okay job keeping up. But wow, there were way too many there. Even I would see them running every once in a while. So got them under control. You just got to keep at it. It's not something you do once and, well, I've done that and I never have to do it again. But I kept changing where the bait box was, so they couldn't get used to that. I checked it to make sure there was still poison. There's like little spools, and the poison looks like a spool of thread that you put on the spools in there, and it seems to work fine. Every once in a while you have to change a spool, put a new one on there, but as long as they're eating it, I always think that's a good thing. And they go away. They seem to go. I don't ever see them. I don't think the hawks were getting them. So my hawks seem pretty good right now. They're basically going after the squirrels right now. Why they don't go after that chipmunk, I don't know. The chipmunk by my house in my backyard doesn't have a tail anymore. So he got caught in somebody's trap. So he might be a little harder to trap now, but I'm going to get him if my cat doesn't attack him first. So yes, we've got all that. We've got lots and lots of seeds. We've got grass seed. We've got every kind of seed you can imagine at DeBruyn's. We got most of our seeds in. There's a couple of them that never showed up. Don't want double Shirley poppies, please. They can't get that to germ out west, so that's gone. But for the year, but most everything we've got. Cemetery liners, I know that there was last year and this year again, it's going to be hard to find green pails, but don't worry, we have plenty. We had someone specially make them for us, and they're doing a wonderful job. So if you need a green pail, DeBruyn's has them. We will have the liners or the flowers to put in the green pails the Monday after Mother's Day. I try don't include those two together. So the Memorial Day flower liners will be at DeBruyn's the day after Mother's Day. So that's not this weekend, it is next weekend. I will have the cemetery liners, and the green pails are already there. You can come buy a green pail if you really want. Make sure you got one. I know they've been kind of scarce around there, but we do have them. And sweet potatoes, they will be arriving the end of this month. Usually Memorial Day weekend, we will have them in the store. If they're going to be early, I will let you know, but I kind of don't think so. It's been awfully wet in Tennessee where they come from. I don't know if they got them in the ground early enough, but we'll see. But they should be at the store the end of this month. If you put in your order, don't worry, I'll give you a call or email you and let you know that they're there, and put your whatever you ordered aside for you. I do a pretty good job of that. We make sure that everybody gets their sweet potatoes, because that's a fun thing to do. If you've never done it, it needs warm soil. They normally have a very long 120-day growing season. We don't have that up here, but we've got a 90-day one, and you can get some pretty decent size sweet potatoes from those things. And if push comes to shove, and all you want to do with it is plant it for the pretty vines, you can do that too. I did that one year. I had too many, so I put some in my window boxes. And then in the fall, when I'm taking out everything out of the window boxes, there's little tiny sweet potatoes in my flower boxes. So they even made a little sweet potato there. So fun to do. It's so different than a regular potato where you put the seed potato in the ground. This is something entirely different. Of course, they aren't even in the same family. I don't even know why I think it is, but yes, they are. They are out there. They are there. Dandelions. We finally got warm enough weather where we can probably put some weed killer on them, and then we get wet weather. So then we can't anymore. Once it's drier and it's warm, we can actually spray it, or you can use some granules on the dandelions. They seem to be taking over some lawns. The corner of Riley and State Street in Zealand is nothing but yellow. And right kitty corner from us, there's a empty lot. And 2 weeks ago it was green, and now it is yellow when you look out there. There are so many dandelions, but you gotta kill them when it's warm weather out. We need at least 65 degrees out there for the pores on the plants to be open, and it's got to be dry weather after you put it on. You can't have it. It's got to sit on those leaves for a while, so you don't want rain to come and wash it off. So yes, it's coming. Don't worry. We can probably kill some weeds in a little bit here. It's been kind of fun. It hasn't been, it's the weeds will come whether they don't care what temperature it is, but whether we can kill them is a whole different matter. Just because of the temperature and just the way the weed killers work. So it's usually, if you've got the weeds, the broadleaf weeds that we call them, that needs warm weather to kill. Weeds killing with warm weather. Crabgrass is cool weather, so you still can put crabgrass down, preventer. It sounds, I usually by tulip time I'm saying don't bother anymore because it's too late. No, the temperature of the soil isn't warm enough. The crabgrass germinates between 60 and 70 degrees. It is 49 out there, so we're still below. you still have time to get that crabgrass preventer down and watered in the soil and be active at the right time. So you've got time, folks. It's May and you still have time. Who would ever have thought of that? Anyway, we need to stop, listen to the news, see who's been crowned in England and whatever else is going on, and we'll be back after that.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
We're back. Isn't this fun? Tulip time, beautiful time in downtown Holland. And it's kind of a nice weather today. It's warm. At least you don't have to run around in your winter coat and gloves, and there's no winter gales of 40-mile-an-hour winds. We can just be thankful. A little dampish out there, but hey, I don't. Adam gave us warm the rain, but we'll take it. It's been a little dry here for a little bit, so it's okay. We'll take that one. I'm gonna remind you, spring bulbs, they're blooming right now. Downtown Holland is beautiful. But if you planted some bulbs in your yard, like a lot of us do, you might want to take a picture right whenever they're in full bloom of where they are. Like if you planted pink over there and red here, and I've got yellow daffodils here, take a picture of where they are, because by fall, there's no way you can ever tell that there were tulips or daffodils in the ground. And then you're going to want to buy some new bulbs because you want to put a few more in that one and you want to do here, and you're not going to remember where they are. Taking pictures is the easiest way. You got them on your phone and you can just flip back and go, okay, this is the spot. I really wanted them and I don't want them here. It saves a lot of time rather than you digging everything up. So take a picture of it. Helps immensely. Buying spring bulbs, you don't do that this time of year. You do that in the fall, starting usually right after Labor Day. We get our bulbs in from the Netherlands, and I would say most people get them in right around Labor Day in September. Yes, Labor Day. So we get them in around then, and you can buy your tulip bulbs and your daffodil bulbs then. So remember that. You buy them in the fall. Take a picture of what you got. Or, you know what? Take a picture. If you see some tulips on Tulip Lane or whatever, take a picture of them. And then in the fall, if you really like them, come to DeBruyn's and look for that variety at DeBruyn's. We usually get a lot of different tulip varieties and colors and patterns and all kinds of fun stuff. So if you see something you like, come on over in the fall and take a look at, you bring your phone down that aisle and take a look at all the bulbs and see what you can find. So a good hint. Otherwise, I'm going to go, I think they were purple, or maybe I already had the purple ones. So that makes everything okay. And once your flowers are done blooming, you'll want to take off the stem of the flower, leave the leaves there, let the leaves go yellow so all of the energy goes back down into the bulb, and then it will stay until next year and grow again next year. Remember, we usually fertilize them once they're done blooming, and then again in the fall. There is a bulb tone that works, flower bulb fertilizer, that will work extremely well for your tulip bulbs. I know the big farms will use urea on their tulips in the fall. We don't, you probably don't have enough to justify getting a 50-pound bag of fertilizer. So the smaller bags of fall bulb food will work just fine. And do it now in the spring once they're done, and then again in the fall to help get those bulbs be as healthy as they can. So next year they will actually put out a flower rather than just weeds or just leaves. I've had a couple people this year say, hey, their tulips came up, but there was just leaves. Might be the tulips way of saying I'm about done. Tulips last 1 to 2, maybe 3 years. The daffodils will last forever. They just keep spreading and keep moving out. But the tulips, they don't last that long. So if your tulips have been going strong for 2 or 3 years, it might be time to think about pulling them out in the fall and putting something new in. But if they're still looking fine, you might want to go. Just remember to fertilize it well. If you're out there buying at DeBruyn's and buying all of your plants out there, your broccoli and kale and all your herb plants and things like that, for those things that can go in the ground now, like the broccoli and cabbage, don't just throw them in the garden. You need to harden them off first. They've been living in, an 80-degree greenhouse, and to go from there to 40-degree temperature of ground, that's an awful big shock to them. So harden them off, and that just means, you buy your plants and in the afternoon or, for a couple hours during the day, you bring the plants outside, set them in an area away from the wind. And, if we get gale force winds again, make sure that they're protected from the wind, but they're out in the weather and they're out in that sun or whatever for, 4 or 5 days. And then you can put them in the ground. And so they will be hardened off and ready to take on that temperature. Just like in the spring too, we might take off our jackets and put on shorts, but it's a little chilly yet. We're not hardened off yet. So make sure you get your plants hardened off before you plant them. And then remember your social distancing with your plants. It's very important. Read your packages. It will tell you how far apart to plant your plants. If it says 12 inches, put them 12 inches apart. If it says 18 inches, put them 18 inches apart. And you're going to put these little tiny plants in the ground, and you're going to go, this seems so stupid. They're so far apart. But by the end of August, they're going to be taking up the whole area. So don't crowd them. Give them enough room to grow. So you're going to actually get a harvest. If you put them too close together, they're competing, their roots are competing for energy, and nothing will grow well. So social distancing is very important with your vegetables. And in the wind-pollinated plants such as corn, it is vital that you plant it in a certain way, because you want the silk from the top of one row to go to the next row to the next row. So don't plant just one single row of corn. We plant, 4 or 5. We do a square of corn. And, the prevailing winds here usually come out of the west. So you plant them north, south, so that west wind can pollinate your plants. So it's vitally important, read the directions on the packages. They know how to do it. Not everything is pollinated by the wind. There's a lot of things pollinated by bees and butterflies and things like that. Honeybees don't pollinate any of our native plants because they're not native. They might go there, but they're not necessarily one of the big pollinators. We have our own wasps and bees here that do that sort of thing, bumblebees, the ground bees, mason bees. If you want to attract these bees to your garden, you might want to put up a house of, like, a mason bee has got a house that you can buy, or just make sure that there's a bare area of ground for the ground bees, so they can go there, and then they can go over to your garden and pollinate. We need to stop and take a break, but we will be back with the garden show right after this.
Let's get back to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show. Call the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland now at 395-1450. Once again, here's Jan Meeuwsen.
And we are back. That went too quickly there. All of a sudden, he had me a little bit a little bit unprepared, but okay. We talked about, remember, hardening off your garden plants before you put them in the ground, and keep them, read the packages, figure out how far apart you can go out there with a ruler. I have no problem with going out there with a ruler and seeing how deep I'm making the holes. A lot of times, like with beans and stuff, I'll just use my finger and I know what knuckle I have to go to. That makes it the perfect thing. But hey, you've got to know that after years of experience. And we've got a caller on the line. Good morning, caller. You're on the Garden Show.
Yes, I was wondering, do you still have strawberry plants?
Yes, we do. We have both the ever-bearing and the June-bearing left.
Okay, and how long are you open today?
We're open until 3 today.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yes, we do have those strawberries. We also have grapes, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries. I knew there was a third one there, a fourth one, whatever. Yes, we have them. Strawberry plants we'll probably have for a little bit yet. We keep bringing them in new every day, every morning, and we still have some. So look, a lot of times, yeah, it's good to call first because they do run out before the other plants do. So, but we do have them right now. So don't worry about that. And again, don't be in such a hurry to plant everything in your garden. We've got all these people running in like, at the end of work. Oh, I got to get my beans because I got to plant my beans. I don't know where they live that their soil is so much warmer than it is by my house. It's nowhere near warm enough to plant beans. And you're just going to get all upset because you planted these beans and then nothing came up. And then you're going to look 2 weeks later and they're going to be all rotten in the ground. That's because it's too cold. Beans should never see the light of May, which means they shouldn't be up out of the ground in May. And so beans, Memorial Day weekend is a great weekend to start planting those. You can do beans like every 2 weeks during the summer. They don't take that long to come to harvest. So, wait until Memorial Day. You'll still have plenty of time to get your beans or some of your warmer vegetables. Lima beans. I had someone that wanted lima beans yesterday. Lima beans need 75-degree soil. We are nowhere near that. Not even in my raised beds is it near 75. So sometimes a raised bed will be warmer than the other ones, but not at 75 right now. And, the kind of schizophrenic weather that we've had lately, I don't know. I can't guarantee that it's going to stay warm. I keep wait. You open your eyes in the morning, and the first thing I do is look at the roof of my neighbor's house, and is it white from snow or what? Mother Nature has got to prove to me right now what she's doing because she has been not a friend this spring at all. She just teases you with warm weather and then takes it away. But it is nicer today. It's just a little damp, but you can still be out there. And one thing I'm going to remind you, the old garlic mustard is out there. This is the time to go out there. And you're going to say, why bother with it? People actually brought it over from Europe. It had some medicinal purpose for somebody. The problem is it takes over and it doesn't leave any room for the native plants to be there. And the native, the insects and the birds and the chipmunks and the squirrels and everybody depend on our native plants. They don't depend on the interlopers like garlic mustard. Garlic mustard is actually a 2-year plant where the first year it just comes up as a small plant. It's got rosettes of flowers. And if you kind of crinkle the flower or the leaves, it smells like garlic. Get that whiff of garlic. The second year it actually sends up flowers, little white flowers, and then there's seed pods on them. We want to get them before they get that. And if you find one garlic mustard, you're going to find 20. So go out, take a look, especially if you have a little shadier area. If you're pulling them, you pull them out of the ground. If you want to just throw them out, again, just make sure you take the roots off of the plant, or you just put them in a bag and get rid of them. They are an invasive species, so you are allowed to put those in the trash, but make sure you get rid of those. If you've got a shady area, they're kind of like lily of the valley, except worse. And like your violets too. But it's worse. So we need to get rid of the garlic mustard, learn to know what it looks like, especially that first year. If you can get out the first year, then you're not going to be chasing those seed pods everywhere. So much easier to get them now in the first year. But if you got second year ones there, pull them out. We want to pull them out before the seed heads dehiss, or whatever they say when it comes off the plant. They're not a good thing. We don't really have any native insects or native things that really like to eat that. So it's just not a good thing. I know the Parks Commission every once in a while has a garlic mustard pull. I've done that. My sister has done that, where you get assigned a portion in a park that you have to pull the garlic mustard. It's kind of fun to do that. So if, maybe take the kids and make it a family outing, and you're actually doing something good. Well, Adam is telling me it's almost time for me to go. So I will tell you that I will be back here on Tuesday at 8:35 with Dan for the garden party. And then I will be on Tuesday from 10 until 11 on the Talk of Town with Gary, called the Garden Hour. Adam's nodding. I think I've got the names of these things correct now. And then I will be back here next Saturday. That's the most important time. I will be here at 11:05. And yes, bringing you whatever new is new at DeBruyn's. And every week brings something new at DeBruyn's. My goodness, we are going through wildflowers this year like nuts. And don't worry, we've got plenty. If you want wildflowers, we still have them. And we also have lots of sunflower. We just got a bunch more in. So yes, we've got all those things in. A lot of people plant flowers this time of year. Might be a little bit early for sunflower yet, but hey, you can probably get those wildflowers in. Just fun things to do. Make sure you get the ground ready before you do that. That's the whole thing, is be prepared, get that garden bed prepared. So with that, I am going to say goodbye until next week, and go green.
You've been listening to the Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show on 99.7, 1450 WHTC and WHTC.com. If you wish to hear this or other programs hosted by the Master Gardener from DeBruyn Seeds in Zeeland, check out the podcast section of our website, WHTC.com, and listen or download for free. The Jan Meeuwsen Garden Show is a presentation of 99.7 and 1450 WHTC.